Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for Bloodshot. So Bloodshot is a comic book movie that is based on a subdivision of comic books that I believe is called Valiant, and it stars Vin Diesel, and it is about this guy who his wife is killed and his body is donated to this organization that uses him and manipulates his biology, and in doing so they have made him invincible so that if he gets shot, he is healed, and if he gets punched, he is healed. And it's kind of like a technological revolution. And what he soon realizes as he gets his memory back is that he kind of remembers the people who did what they did to his wife. So he wants to go back and find them and end their lives for what they did to him. That is how much of Bloodshot I'm going to tell you, because the trailers to this movie tell you way more than what I just told you. And that was a big red flag for me from the start. I think any time that you see a movie trailer and it seems like they're giving away the entire movie in the trailer, that's a problem. That means that there isn't enough interesting parts of this movie to show in the trailer without some parts spoiling major plot points. And unfortunately, that's how the trailers for Bloodshot went. So I went in with low expectations and I ended up getting a really crappy movie. Bloodshot is really bad, and there's really no other way of going about it. This movie is boring, this movie feels really long, and by the end of it, you honestly feel like you can't remember anything that happened. This will probably be a shorter review than usual because I genuinely have a hard time remembering what I thought about this movie. And I saw it like 4 or 5 days ago. It's just such a forgettable movie. It's so poorly done. The editing is really awkward. The acting is just so bland. And I think that the part that really got to me and annoyed me was the cinematography. The movie is really dark, and it feels like a lot of this movie was shot in really low lighting, and because of that, it's just a weird disconnect where my eyes just weren't interested in the movie and they weren't captivated by watching it because it was so dark. It's very tricky using darkness in movies because you don't want a shot to be so dark that you can't see anything, but if you want to get the effect that something really dark and brooding is happening, then that's pretty important. And the problem with Bloodshot is that the whole movie has really dark cinematography, and because of that, I had a really hard time telling what was going on, not only in the action, but just when characters were talking to one another. It was hard to see facial expressions, and even when the movie is in light, it's not like it gets any better. It's still very confusing, it's still very poorly done, and overall, I just thought Bloodshot was a mess of a movie. It definitely feels like that this, brand of comic book Valiant that they tried to kickstart with this movie, it's definitely not going forward from here. It didn't make much of the box office. They're putting it on VOD right now, and I didn't find much to enjoy about it. It's a really bland movie. It feels like when DC was first starting out, when they had some pretty bad movies like Batman vs. Superman, it feels like it could totally fit in that vein. It's so dark and serious, nothing about it is entertaining. I will give Bloodshot a 3 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for this film. So, what are your thoughts on this movie, or what is your favorite non-Marvel, non-DC comic book movie? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.